trying a new setup today. So we'll see how this goes. I feel like it's still not quite right, but it might be a bit better. We'll see. I hope everyone's all right. We are doing the second day of the stitch along. I still have not done the covers. I couldn't do it today. I could not find time. We've had like disaster after disaster here today. The speedboat came back and just randomly didn't start, and then the lawnmower guys came. Then we found, what was the other thing? There was something else that was we were like, oh no. But anyways, we're here now. They've all gone on a float boat ride, and I thought, if you guys go for a float boat ride, I can do my live now because it'll be nice and quiet and no one will be here. So what we're doing today is a regular satin stitch, okay? And we're going to do this big guy right here over the top. And all we're doing here is we're making sure that all of our stitches are nice and parallel to each other, okay? And they're going to meet in the middle here, like this. And I've just thrown in a crazy thing because they're also going to be two different colors, okay? So I'm going to do these two like this. And we're just going to go in and do a couple of this color, a couple of that color, a couple of this color, and fill in the gaps. The only tricky part is going to be up here at the top where we're going to have to place some extra stitches in, okay? So hopefully it won't be too daunting. Let me just turn this really quickly if I can. Brace yourself, okay? I'm just going to turn it around because I'm getting like a weird shadow thing. So I'm going to try and do it like that. So yeah, we'll see what happens. We'll see how it goes. So I'm thinking I'm going to start with this darker orange color like this. And I'm thinking we could do like, we definitely don't need all 6 strands, but maybe like 3 or 4. So let me just cut off a little piece here. If we did 3, it would be like that, and that's pretty good. So let's do 3 for this. And then we're going to go in with the other color afterwards. So everyone's is going to look a little bit differently, and that is okay. All right, you're not doing it wrong. You're just doing it a bit differently. So I'm going to thread my needle, and then I'm going to draw in some guidelines here just so you can see what we're going to do. Also, in the colored in version in your pattern, you will see it there too. So it's the same colors-ish, okay, that I've got there. And yeah, we'll just do our best. Okay. Oh my gosh. All right, so we have got the 3 strands, yeah? And what we're going to do is put them on an angle like this. So they can be completely horizontal if you want. I like to have mine kind of on an angle like with the leaves. So they look like, you know, how the middle of a leaf goes up and kind of out like that. Yeah? So that's what I'm kind of aiming for. So with these, I'm just putting in some guidelines. I'm trying to make them all as parallel as I can get them, okay? That means that they're not really going to be like the 3/4 satin stitch or an angled satin stitch, anything like that, all the way down here. All the way down, okay? So all the way up, they should be about the same until they get to this part. And this part is where you're going to get a little, like, Tori, really? But I promise you it will work out, okay? So we're going to work on this side. And then I think you can do the other side by yourself. The other 2 videos I have downloaded successfully the very first time, and they were under, I think the first one was 40 minutes or 45 minutes, and the other one was 30 something. So I'm going to try and keep it to about 30 minutes and go from there, okay? So with the satin stitch, what we're going to do, I think everyone's done satin stitch before, and you either love it or you hate it. And with the satin stitch, what we're going to do is we're going to come up on one side and come down on the other, and then just keep doing that, okay, all the way around. And with the, I should have brought my iPad actually, but with the picture in the pattern, I've got some areas of the dark orange are much thicker, and then you've got a little bit thinner and then a bit thicker. The amount of satin stitch we're going to do here is going to vary based on how you want it to look again, okay? So I'm going to start just in the middle here so you can see how to do the stitch, and then we can decide together how thick we want this to be or how thin, and all that's going to be is just how many stitches, okay? So it's almost going to have like stripes. You're going to come up on one side and down on the other, okay? Just keeping that outline in mind, okay? Now to alternate colors, we're not going to change our thread every time that we need to change colors. We're just going to leave a space. So because I've got just 3 strands here, it's going to be really easy to go back and add another color or more stitches if you need to. So I'm just going to leave like a bit of a gap here. I promise you it will work out. And what you're going to do is lay this down like this and get that same angle, okay? So we don't want to put it over like that, because do you see how it's almost making a triangle, like a little pizza slice? There, we don't want that. So you're going to keep it over this way. And then continue with your next stitch. I'm going to stitch straight over this. So maybe this one will only be, first one I did 3 stitches, maybe we'll do 5 here, make it a bit thicker. Yeah, but then what else happened today? The float boat broke, the speedboat, they needed a new starter or something, and then it just like stopped working before it got back to the dock. Then David had to go out and rescue it, and then we're just gonna leave a little space again. Maybe just do 1 for this one, or 2, okay? It's actually really forgiving to do it this way because you can go back in and add more stitches wherever you need to. So we're just making some little stripes in here. If you don't like satin stitch, you could always do like a closed fly stitch. That was going to be another one that I was going to think about doing, but in the end I went with satin because I think it's easier for people to add the stitches in. Okay, so let's do a little bit more. Again, leaving a space. So remember, I said it's going to be striped, so we're making stripes. You could do your stripes all the same size and really like plan them out, or you could do them kind of random like I'm doing. Okay, you're probably looking at this and thinking, Tori, I really have to trust you with this. And please do. It always turns out really nice. So hopefully you're not thinking, no, this is not for me. Also, how is the light for this? Because I thought it would be better, and I'm not quite so sure that I'm loving it. It's not terrible, but it's hard because at the lake house, it's like one big room, and then in the back is just bedrooms. And so I'm in a bedroom. I'm in my grandma and grandpa's bedroom. The light's good. Okay, good. But yesterday I couldn't find a way to make the light on top of my, like I showed you at the end of the video. I couldn't find a way to make the light on top of it. So I just moved it to a different area in the room, which is totally fine. But it's not by the window like it was before. So I don't actually have any like natural light in here at all, which is not great for stitching. So make this one a bit thicker, I think. And then we'll go to the top. Now remember, I've been doing it like the regular satin stitch way, which is up on one side, down on the other. There's also the cheat version, which is kind of like the thread saver satin stitch, and I'll show you that as well when I do the lighter color. So I'm gonna continue with this one all the way to the bottom. I've got 3 strands if you're just joining, and we're doing a satin stitch. So like I said, this is probably going to be one of those where I show you how to do this part, and then you guys can do the other side on your own, because satin stitch, I feel like it gets a bit like, not like super boring, but it just gets a bit like, okay. Especially when you're teaching it, I think, you know? Because you just do the same thing over and over and over. So, there we go. Okay, now I'm going to come back up to the top here and kind of finish this part. If you don't want to like waste thread, or if you're running out of thread, you could always cut a knot there and come back and do, where is it? There it is. You know, and make a new knot and start again. But this seemed to be okay, so I'm gonna do that. And then at the top here, you're gonna end up squeezing a lot of stitches up here at the top and not so many stitches here at the bottom. So we're going to kind of combine the 3/4 satin stitch, or like the thread saver satin stitch. No, not thread saver. Angled satin stitch. There we go. I was just thinking, what else do I have to show you? The angled satin stitch. Okay, and the way that we do that, I'm going to start here, just here at the top, is we're going to make some stitches not go all the way down. Okay, so we'll put them about 3/4 of the way down. And you can start about here. So I'm going to do one more. This one's going to go all the way down. So we've got one that went all the way, and then one that went like 3/5 of the way, or 3/4 of the way, something like that. Can you see it up there where I just put it down? Not quite all the way down. And then this next one is going to go down just right next to that very first one that we did. And what this is doing is it's filling up the space at the top, but it's making the space at the bottom not so full. And that way you can put more stitches in to make that nice fan. So that's the third way of saying it, is the fanned satin stitch. You can put more stitches in to make that like fan look at the top, but it won't be so bulky down here, because what ends up happening is that you put all your stitches through the same little bit of fabric, and you end up with such a big hump right here in the middle. Okay, so this is just a way of like minimizing that. Obviously you don't have to do it this way. If you're like, I don't get it, I don't like it, I don't want to do it, you don't have to do that. Okay, this is just a way to make it for all of your threads to kind of lay a bit nicer. So I'm just going to show again where we can go even this far. Pay attention to the outside edge when you're stitching, especially if you don't want to add an outline. I have not planned for an outline, but obviously you can make an outline if you want to, especially after the fact. If you think, oh my gosh, these stitches are like, they're not as neat as they could be, okay? You can always just add an outline later, and you can kind of really tidy those things up. So don't fret if you're having a bit of a panic. Hi, Natalie. Oh, I miss you. I miss you so much. All right, I'm going to zoom out because we've just finished with this color, and we're going to go back in with 3 strands of our other color, okay, which is the lighter orange. And it is only slightly lighter, so if I do a couple stitches and I'm like, oh, that's like not light enough to make an impact, then we might have to change it, you know, because that's the worst when you do a bunch of work and then you realize, oh my gosh, you can't tell what I've done. Like, that was a waste of time. So let's just hold this up really quickly and just make sure that it's going to be, sorry for hitting that, that's going to be worth it, you know? Let me just see if I have a lighter color or if I have a darker color. I know I have this color, but it's a bit, is that the same color? Did I just grab the exact same color that I had before? This looks beautiful, Tori. Thank you. I've loved seeing everyone share their progress. And the same with you and yours, with your hummingbird one. How beautiful is that? I'm a little bit jealous that I didn't do it this time, but I like literally, like, there's no way I could have done it. You know what I mean? This is more of a yellow. So let's see if this yellow, what this yellow looks like. See, that's like a bit more of a contrast, you know, so you're definitely going to see the stripes on that one. What we thinking? Is more of a yellowy color, or should I do the original orange? Oh, I like that one. Go lighter. I think that the lighter one's going to like pop off a little bit more. So all 3 colors together look like this. Yeah. So my initial thought was this because they're really similar. It's hard because the light is not great, you know? I know I keep banging on about it and you're probably like, no one cares. Just stitch it. But it really does make a difference though when you have like a natural color light, because you can see a lot easier what the actual color is, like what the true color is. And there's been so many times, I know you're gonna like roll your eyes and be like, Tori, you say this all the time, but there's been so many times where I've grabbed what I thought was black and it was actually like a navy blue and done like, I think it was on a name, like a name hoop. Well, I'll do a couple stitches, and if we're all like, ew, no, change it back, then we'll just change it back. It's not that big of a deal. Let's just put this on. And I'm thinking what's around here, and I don't think I have any yellow around here, so it will be, I think it will be okay if it's like too much of a contrast, you know? Okay. Right, let's start at the very, very top. No, let's start in the middle, because then if I have to pull the stitches out, it'll be way easier. And then you're just going to go in and fill in these blank bits, okay? Pay attention to the curves. This is where you might need to add more stitches than you think. Try your very best to keep that same satin stitch angle, you know? Because even though we're just kind of filling it in now, it's really, really easy to like go rogue. And then all of a sudden you're left like with some like random ones like that. And you're thinking, wait, how did we get here? How did this happen? And let me tell you, I'm not saying it because I'm like, oh my gosh, you guys are so silly. I'm saying it because it happens to me all the time. And I'm like, hold on. Either I've had too much to drink or I need a drink, because my stitching is like in cursive all of a sudden and it should be straight. I'm the absolute worst at rounded edges. Teresa, you cannot be the worst. You just need to practice, that's all. I will say the more that you do it, the more you realize where you need to put your thread and how far down you can put it so that you still have a rounded edge and it doesn't just like come off a cliff, you know? Because there's been a couple times where that's happened. Oh no, everyone's home. Just 1 second. I'm doing the live now, so I'm going to close the door and just keep going, okay? Okay. Sorry. I thought I had like 10 more minutes, and I definitely don't. Tomorrow, my darling, you have to go to bed. It's almost midnight. So glad I caught you. I'll see you tomorrow, beautiful. Night, 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 night. Aw. Love when people come. Oh, I know where to put it. My fingers just won't do it. Oh, goodness. Isn't that always the case, though? You can hear them all. I gotta pee, I gotta pee. It's bath and bedtime now. But I'm gonna finish this one side, like I said. So yeah. I feel like this color is working though. I feel like it looks nice. I don't think it's too yellow, which was kind of my worry against the orange. The other thing that I've noticed when I do and pick threads is that when your color is like all together in the skein like this, I feel like it's a different color to when it's like that. So maybe it's just like in my own mind, but like if I had to pick, like if this color and this color were the same, I'd probably say no, you know? I feel like this looks lighter to me now. I don't know why, and this looks a bit darker. And I've noticed that with a couple other ones too, where I think, well, that's not the color I thought when I picked it. And I think it's just because it's got less strands, you know? So I like to kind of test it out. So let's try the thread saver version. So the thread saver version is where you come up on one side and down on the other, and then you come back up on the same side and you go back up to the top. So you're kind of going like up, down, then over, up, then over, down, instead of up on the same side and down on the same side. So we'll see. It's to do with the juxtaposition of the color next to it as well. Yes, absolutely. But I mean, I've noticed it even when I'm doing like one strand of something on its own, but then like 6 strands of it looks a lot different, a lot darker. So I think it's like seeing all of them at once, like a larger amount of it maybe. Okay, and then we're going to pop down here to this and do these little ones. And then after that, I'm going to show you the back, because on the back, you'll be able to see this section here where I've done the thread saver version. I know it's only a small section, but you'll be able to see it. Color theory is like so fun though, isn't it? You can do like I could do like a whole class on just like color theory and oopsies. And like picking colors or balancing your color choices or okay, we're almost done. This kind of tucks in behind this, so you don't have to go over top of it. I've got one tiny one here, and then we'll go up and do the top. I'm like determined this stitch along, 1, to put them all on YouTube like immediately, and 2, to actually like keep up with it so that everyone can see how is there a little knot there. Weird. Okay, just hopping in before I put my kids to bed to say I love this color combo. Thank you. We were actually debating this earlier, and my kids are about to go to bed too, so I've got like 5 or 6 minutes. Because I also don't want the video to be too long. I know I said earlier, but I don't know why, but they all downloaded like super easy. So I don't know if it's like internet at my house or if they were longer. Like almost all of those last ones were a full hour. Like maybe it was because of the length of the video. I literally have no idea, but they're all on my phone now. The yesterday's and the prep video. So last night I was like buzzing. I was like, oh my gosh. I'm putting them on YouTube immediately. But I need to see if I can find a way to do a cover. A YouTube cover. I need to just hire someone for that. Putting them on YouTube. Covers and all that. Like, I just want to make cool stuff. I'm going to get the other 3 strands and do this top part here. And that's going to be me done. So you can totally see none of my stripes are the same all the way down. They're not like uniform. Some are thicker, some are thinner, some are just one stitch, some are like 5 stitches. You can make them however you want to. If stripes are not your thing and you think, Tori, I'm not doing that, you don't have to, okay? You could just do a satin stitch all the way down and call it a day. I think the stripes gives it a little something something, if you know what I mean. So we'll see. I'm also thinking I might try and do like a set time for these and just do it at that time no matter what. Maybe we could do like 3 or 4 o'clock or 8 o'clock at night and see what people decide. Could do like right before dinner or after the kids are in bed, and then everyone will know that it's like the set time, you know? I love this house, but the only thing I don't love is that it's very open, and because it's so open, it makes it hard to do the videos. So I had it all set up in a different place. But then someone's going to sleep there now. So I can't do it there. I'll do it somewhere else. So that's why I've got my grand grandpas around, because they normally only come up on Saturday night or Saturday, and they go to bed later, like at 9 or 9:30. So that will be, I can still use the room, you know, after I set it all up. Okay, so here's where we're going to start our angled 3/4 or fanned satin stitch, whatever you want to call it. Oops. How cute is this though? And then we're going to do the exact same thing on the other side, just down the other side of it. Okay, so it's quite a bit of stitching for today because it's a big shape. That's why I only made one. That's why there's only one leaf that looks like this, because I thought I can't do that to you guys. Not on this one. So hopefully, I think I've got one more stitch in here. And this one can go 3/4 of the way, and then we'll be done. We'll be done for today's video. So hopefully zoom out and we'll see what we've got. How cute is that? Personally, I love it, but that's just me. You can definitely change it if you want to. So please don't be nervous, or please don't feel like you have to do this stitch. If you're like, I don't like satin stitch, I don't want to do it. You definitely don't have to if you're not interested. So yeah, that's it from me today. And that is a satin stitch with 3 strands. We're just trying to keep it on that same angle going all the way up. Doing the guidelines really does help. I promise you, if you're having trouble with your satin stitch, you just might need to do the guidelines. And I love it because you don't even see them when you're done. Okay, so you stitched over top of all of them. No one will ever know that you did it. And it just makes it like so much easier to like do a satin stitch nicely, you know? Also do the thread laying method like I showed you. If you need to figure out where to put it, what angle, okay? Lay your thread down and you can do it like that. So there we go. That is all. That is it from me. I'm going to love you and leave you. And yeah, I can't wait to see yours. All right, bye.